conversation about facts, topics, and all things community. We're here with Beyond Youth Organizing Youth Advocates. If you guys could take the chance to introduce yourselves. My name is Willam.
William. Zion.
I'm Denim Fisher.
And I'm Christen Kelly, the Youth Coordinator. And today we will dive deep in the conversation of social media and the effects they have on us as youth. So, my first question is, I know I just sent you guys an article about AI and its effects that it has. So, what were your thoughts on that article when y'all read it?
Why she laughing?
Because you didn't read it. I didn't read it. I literally read it, but I forgot. I don't really know.
The one about the pipes for high school?
No.
Was that the one?
Yeah.
So that wasn't the one when he said that his voice was the AI?
That's like this one saying that AI was used in the Micheal situation. So I guess you could say, but it was an actual one about how AI is used and its effects.
Yeah, I did
Are
read
you
that.
talking about the Project Liberty?
Yeah,
The second article?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, so I got some takeaways. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to like cut it off.
It's okay.
Okay. So there were a couple of takeaways I had from that article. So there were like different categories, and the first category was called Kids Are Not Adults. So one of the things that I read said that age 13 is the threshold used by tech companies to mark the age when someone can have a social media preference. And another comment was, before laws impose restrictions or age verifications, social media platforms themselves must first create safe digital spaces for kids. And I really agree with that statement, because changing the age restriction, like having age 13 as the threshold, is one thing, but there's a bigger problem that must be examined, and I feel like you can change the age and that would be helpful, but that would only be looking at like the symptoms of a larger condition. So I feel like kids, basically this section of the article was saying that kids need safe spaces, like just in general, period. And I feel like, if they change the age to like 15 to 16, people would still be harmed. So it's like saying, kids can, like we could say like, kids can have social media at ages 13 and up. Or we could just say, which in that case, the age between 15 and 16 would be 13 and up. But even if we said let's do 15 and up, people can still be harmed. Like the young, impressionable mind can still be harmed. So I feel like it's the environment itself that needs to be looked at. I mean, and you can even connect that to like a school. Like, if one kid is being expelled from a school or suspended from a school, if you take that one kid away from the school and it's like chaos within the school, it's not just that one kid who is a part of that, who's the problem. You need to look at everything from a bigger scope. So
how do you guys feel like AI has kind of affected social media so far? You don't think AI has affected stuff? I feel like, me personally, if I go on Instagram, I gotta look and make sure that picture is actually real and not AI generated, because it's a lot of fake pictures on social media and you can't even tell. Like on Twitter, it's so sad because now they gotta put in the notes like this was AI generated or this was da-da-da-da. You can't tell. So I feel like that's one way I feel like AI affected.
I've been seeing some pictures where I can't tell. So.
Really? Yeah.
Maybe like faking voice messages too, like people voices.
That's in regards to the other article with the voice, but I'm not going to discuss that. What were you going to say something?
Oh yeah, they tried to, the key bridge crash. So they tried to make it look like The Simpsons predicted that there was a photo of that, but it was AI. So,
It was AI.
yeah.
And I saw also even on the news, I don't know if they were using AI on the news, where it was actually like a live news thing, and the birds just disappeared in the bridge, and people were like, where did the birds go? Like, they just stopped flying on the TV screen. So AI is really taking over a lot more now, and it's kind of affecting people. I don't know if you guys saw also, but Angel Reese, she just had something AI generated about her, which made her like, she had this whole thing on her platform where she felt like she was being sexualized, and it's going around on Twitter now because either way, even if she do take pictures like that or whatever, someone should not be able to AI generate a picture like that. And it's like just expose someone in an accident. It's so sad.
Right,
They really
so
should
to-
change it.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, to answer your question, I think in that case, like, if AI is using, which I'm sorry, I cut you off. Did you? Did you say anything? Okay. So I feel like in the case where AI is used to spread misinformation or to ruin someone's reputation, that's not good at all, because it's like, well, people have careers, people have lives, people have families, and a lot of people hold those three things like in the highest regard. So I feel like AI damaging a family, a career, a life, or, you know, in Angel Reese's case, which what was her situation? Could you
Someone basically made inappropriate pictures of her on AI and then posted them saying it was her, but it wasn't really her, but it's her face because, you know, AI generates whatever you type in. So
right?
she had to basically clear that up on social media, but she hates the fact that she's being sexualized as a person, which anybody would feel, because who wants to be felt like this, especially in her position. She's a role model to people who are younger than her, so it's like, it's really sad.
Yeah, so I think that's really traumatic. Like, I mean,
It is traumatic.
I've seen like situations where like AI, like certain songs are sung by like SpongeBob and Patrick, and I think that's cute. I think that's silly. But in a situation where someone's body is like being shamed, or someone is being hypersexualized, or just sexualized in general because of AI, I think that's problematic. And I could imagine like how she feels. And she is like you said, a role model to the younger generation, and she is also a professional basketball player, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, I feel like certain things like that, her basketball team or the league, whoever she plays for, could probably like bring that to her attention and be like, well, Angel, what is this? And she might be like, well, I don't know, like somebody made this up. So like in a situation like that, I would definitely want the victim, the person who's been harmed, to receive an apology from whoever created that nonsense.
And it's sad that you don't know who did or where it came from, honestly, so she probably won't ever get an apology. And the world is just so sick that you actually have people trying to justify it. So it's just a sick world. I feel like AI should be limited on who uses it, how it's used, because to just have it out for everyone it's actually harmful in so many ways. It's dangerous, honestly. But yeah, let's move on. So when you guys hear the term social media effect, what comes to mind, and what has been your experience with social media? Let's break that down a little bit. So first, what comes to mind when I hear the social media effect?
It means when I hear social media effect, I break it up. So social media is a platform, and when something is effective, like it's impacting like your emotions and, you know, your relationship, your response, your ideas. So I think to put the term together, the social media effect, I think it means the impact of digital technology on the human mind. And whether that be like a page that you have access to, some information that you have access to, just different things that you have access to. Social media itself is a sea, and we are the little fish in the sea. So I feel like it's really like an impact of a digital world on the human world.
Mm-hmm. So what do y'all think? What comes to mind when I hear social media effects? What affects the social media?
Goods. The good and the bads of the social media.
Like what? What's good? What's bad?
Some bad stuff on social media is like the cyberbullying and the talking down on people. Like say Kim Kardashian posted something, you have people on the comments just bashing her for no reason. So that's a bad. And the goods is like, it's the like, I don't know, like say someone is exploring their sexuality and don't know like who they is, talking about themselves, they can look it up and you can have someone on the internet talking about, oh, this is how I found out I was gay or bisexual, pansexual, or I want to become a man's woman. So it's like, that's good.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, like the positive effect from it is like it being spreading a lot of awareness. Like back in the day, you wouldn't be able to get information this fast. Like especially on TikTok, that's not controlled by the U.S. government. It's like they can't control what you're learning. I'm learning a lot of stuff on TikTok that I've ever learned in school. So yeah.
When I hear like the social media effect, I think about like the negatives, like especially like, well, mostly like celebrities, because they get like a lot of celebrities, they get like hated on a lot. Like hate trains, the hate trains are mostly like influenced by social media because you'll see like one person talking down on them, like, oh right, they did point that out, like Nikki, they'll say like, oh yeah, Nikki, her butt is fake, she look a mess, she look crazy. And I feel like everybody, they would just jump on that train, the bandwagon, they would jump on that bandwagon and hate on just one person.
so just like you earlier when you want to actually come to the Janae concert.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like I said, I love Janae, but like she bringing out Koi don't like Nikki, and Janae be shading. She be shading people, so I don't like
You
that.
wouldn't know none of this if it wasn't
If
for
it wasn't for
social
social
media.
media, exactly.
Wow.
Nicki Minaj say whoever, and I'm gonna support it. I'm gonna say bye.
Sir, she don't even know you.
Okay.
Nah, she did.
She just made eye contact with one.
Please.
She did. But if did she touch your hand? Did Janae touch your hand?
I never met her.
Exactly. So, yeah.
You never met her either. She canceled the meet and greet.
Yeah, but it don't matter. She touched my hand. She touched my hand. She didn't touch.
So let me ask you, what's your experience with social media?
The good or the bad, both.
Just your experience.
Good because, it's how I like, I got like, that's how like I got like popular from social media. I was posting. I hate when y'all always hate. Y'all just always hate. But if you ain't got haters, you're not popular. That's just what I'm saying. But listen, I would like post myself. I would post pictures of my outfits and stuff. I would like get a whole bunch of likes, like a whole bunch. I'm talking in the thousands range. So I feel like that like boosted my self-esteem. So like I feel like it helped me in a way. But like the bad, people they like to talk. Like they like to talk a lot. They could talk your head off. Like they would keep talking. And they would talk about like the bad, but like, as soon as you see them in person, they freeze up because they don't want it. You get what I'm saying? But like, I don't condone violence. Violence is not the answer. Never. It's never the answer. If you're a young youth out there thinking about violence, don't do it. Just think about your future. Think about what it does for you. What is it doing for you?
Right.
What are you going to benefit? What are you going to benefit from that?
Let's tell the kids.
Exactly. Just know I love y'all. I see Miss Donna. Preach.
So what's the rest of you guys' experience with social media?
So I would honestly say there's a balance of both. I feel like too much of anything or too little of anything can become problematic. So I feel like everything should be done in moderation. I would say some of the good things in terms of like how social media has benefited my life has been like number one, it has really served as an outlet of self-expression. Like when I did not feel comfortable expressing myself in person or I wasn't around like positive, uplifting people, like social media kind of gave me the affirmation that I was seeking. And I guess that can kind of be bad, like when you're relying on external validation, like it's like this constant loop that you're in, and it's like, well, if I'm not being validated by the people around me. I don't know how to validate myself. Then I look out to social media, and it's like, what happens if it's not there? Like, will I be okay in the end? But I would say I agree with London. Like, social media has, honestly, it's fed and driven my curiosity at the same time. If I have a question about something, if I want to explore something, if I, want to look something up, check something out, I have social media. Similar to Zion, I feel like social media has educated me on Black history more than school. I tend to be dissatisfied with the historical covering of Black history. So I feel like social media has definitely helped me. I feel like the spread of information is quick and it's instant. So that could be a cool thing, but I feel like for a young mind, I would say the fact that the information is quick and instant, it can become problematic because it's like you receive immediate gratification, immediate support from social media, and it's like if that does not translate to real life, you can grow impatient. And you can grow impatient with yourself, with your life. You start comparing yourself to other people and wondering, like, are you in the right place? Is there something I'm missing? Will I ever have X, Y, and Z? And it can become dark. Yeah.
Yeah, so like, do you guys feel social media is because you guys, I know y'all are minors, but younger minors, do you guys feel like it's beneficial to them?
No.
Why not?
Because they listen to like Sexy Red. No.
Yeah, there's too many bad influences.
I know y'all saw the video of Sexy Red
At the
going to the school.
Mm-hmm. She was mad.
She was doing what?
Someone from the school invited her there,
Mm-hmm.
but someone invited Sexy Red to come to an elementary school. And it's just
That was
like,
elementary?
Oh.
middle school.
No, I thought it was in high school because I saw a kid. I mean, I ain't seen no kid, you know what I'm saying?
Sexy Red was in high school.
Because
No,
it
they
was
said it was
big.
in middle school.
Because them middle schools, they was big.
Middle school
Kids
should
are
be big.
big.
No, but
They're like the same size as you.
that's not big, I'm small.
Exactly.
I just said they was big. I just said they were big though.
But you're a high schooler.
But you gotta get what I'm saying. And y'all see this? This lady right here, she is body shaming me. Y'all get what I'm saying? That's not right.
Body is right.
That's not right, y'all. That's not right.
You just
I'm confused. Did Sexy Red go to a middle school and a high school?
We don't.
Let's just say it was an academy.
Okay. Well, I think that. What was the question again?
Do you think it's beneficial for minors to use social media?
No, I think. No, I don't think it's beneficial. When we were watching the social media dilemma, yes, thank you, the social dilemma documentary on Netflix, there was a scene where a girl, her name was Isla, and she was like, maybe like 8 to 9, 10, and she like posted a picture of herself. It did not receive like the likes that she got on the picture was not satisfying to her. So then she like went to a whole other app and like edited her face. And
She was 8?
10.
like, yeah, around those ages, like I would say 9 to 10. And she like went to a whole other app, she edited her face, and then she posted the picture, and then her likes started to increase, and that made her happy. And I mean, well, the dopamine release from the likes, that makes sense. But I think it can be in that scenario, I feel like it was not beneficial because, she's really young. And I would, if I can go back and tell like 10-year-old me something, or someone like her, I would tell them that, they're beautiful without those things. And they don't need, filters or anything, because they naturally exude beauty. Like, we naturally are beautiful people. And You know, we don't need those extra. I mean, you can use those things. Like, I think filters are cool. They can be really cute, and you know, they might accentuate, like, you know, parts of yourself, but like without them, I would want a young person to know that they still matter and they're worthy. I know that when I was in middle school, like 12 or something, I went through a phase where I was like comparing myself to celebrities, and I wanted a rhinoplasty, which is fancy word for saying nose job. And you know, I just like compared myself to people, and I remember like my parents were saying that like it was kind of like ridiculous that I wanted a nose job, but I felt like, you know, it was a valid insecurity of mine, and I think that, you know, they should have looked into it further. Like, instead of when a young kid is coming to their parent or their peer, anyone, period, and saying like, hey, I don't like this about myself. You know, hey, I want to change this. This doesn't resonate with me. I feel like during those moments, during those times, we need to like actually sit down and have like a conversation about like what's going on.
Yeah, I was making you feel that way.
Yeah. Exactly. I think in that moment I needed to be affirmed and not insulted.
So do you guys feel like, since you guys grew up honestly the same time technology grew up, do y'all feel like you were influenced a lot by technology? Or
Absolutely.
like were
She said,
you
"Can you elaborate?"
so like, because y'all grew up the same time technology started expanding more. So I think I was like 5 when MySpace was made, and y'all was probably like around that age, probably a little bit older when Facebook was made. So just like during that time, y'all growing up the same time, social media is getting more enhanced. Do y'all think that influenced y'all in any type of way?
I don't really remember. I don't know. I remember doing something when I was really young. I was talking on Facebook.
You was talking about her?
Yeah, said something about her.
What did you say?
I don't
It
know.
don't matter what
I
she
think
said.
it was something wrong. Me and my sister and my father went about it. I mean, I didn't get in trouble. I was like 8, so I didn't really know.
I think I'm Rachel. I grew up at the time where I got to experience a good 12 years before I even got introduced to social media. I'm lying. I had Kick.
So you're like 40.
Right.
I'm like, what?
40.
No.
Kick is old.
Yeah, I know
She was
that.
old, she was
I would have been like 30 something.
I know that Instagram came out in 2010, so I was 5, and in the social dilemma documentary, it talks about how Gen Z is the first generation who experienced like life on social media.
That's what I mean. So like y'all literally grew up with social media. Y'all were here. Me, I could say I lived a life where I didn't even know what social media was. Y'all literally were born into social media.
Yeah,
Yeah. I used to be outside.
So like when I was little, were y'all were on iPad kids?
yes.
I felt like I was both.
I was an iPad. I was a combination of
I was
both.
both.
So yeah.
How did you get
When I got tired of being outside, when you go inside, you're on.
I used to watch Disney Channel.
So now do you guys like when y'all eat or like before y'all eat, do y'all have to put something on TV? Like I gotta watch something.
I don't have to, but I want to. Like, it's like
Exactly. That influenced y'all.
What you mean?
Cause y'all grew up being able to do that all the time, and now y'all just so used to it. Y'all
Yeah,
didn't even live without it.
I
I
would
can live without.
I would say that my tablet / and my iPad, like just my devices in general, kept me company at a young age because there's a lot of gaps with me and my siblings, and I would go outside and play with like neighborhood friends, but when I was back inside, I was doing my own thing. Like I didn't have a sibling to play with, so it was like I was playing with my dolls, but also it was like I felt like my tablet and iPads and just all my devices were like a substitute for something that was missing. So I do think I kind of had like a lonely childhood in some ways. But, you know, I would definitely say I was a combination of both. I used to come home from school, rush in the house, do my homework, play outside, you know, come back in, and I used to be on, like, the first social media platform that I started using was YouTube, and YouTube is, like, different from the other platforms, but it still is, like, a form of social media. So, yeah, I started using YouTube when I was 5, and, like, around, like, 8, I started using Musical.ly, which is now called TikTok, and I remember, like, I experienced some cyberbullying at, like, 8 years old on Musical.ly, and I remember, like, being called to the principal's office, and she printed, like, my principal had printed out the comments that I said to someone, but she did not print out the comments.
When she said to you.
Yeah. So there was a girl who attacked me, and I responded, and I'm like 8 years old. I think my parents should have been monitoring my devices, because I don't think in that situation it was like the best decision to respond to a bully. But I do remember that the principal, when I was in the office, she never like pulled up the comments from my from the person who antagonized me, who attacked me. But she pulled up my comments, and I felt like it was kind of like a racially like motivated like situation, because the girl was white, I'm this little black girl, and the principal was white, and the girl and her mother, they like, you know, kind of like teamed up on me, and you know, she was crying and stuff. Well, you know, like, so seriously, like they took her side.
Yeah.
And I think in that situation, I needed like a parent, an adult to like intervene and like support me. And I didn't. That situation didn't go like the best way for me. We actually ended up having like assigned seats in the cafeteria where we couldn't look at each other, and we had to like sit like far from each other. Like it was interesting. Yeah.
We used to have like an assigned table, not a seat.
I mean, yeah, for your class. Right? That's what you're talking about?
Yeah, it would be for my class, but I would never sit there. I used to sit
My
there.
assigned seating was at lunch in the cafeteria. We couldn't look at each other, talk to each other. It was interesting.
So do y'all feel like period? That was crazy. I mean, so do y'all feel like social media has altered the way minors handle their mental health issues and hardships?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
You might want to elaborate.
It like brought my focus to like, you know, like when like you like struggling with something, right? Like I bring it to like music, because like in music you can relate to like a lot of things. It's like songwriting, they like go through the same things that you go through. So like in songwriting, they can like help you heal. You get what I'm saying?
Anybody else?
I would. Oh, I'm sorry, London.
No one's in a I was asking the question was.
Oh.
Social media altered the way you handle mental health issues.
Yeah, so I would say people react now instead of like, people react very impulsively instead of like thinking and like meditating on like how they feel. And you know, going back to, I guess I could even like tie this in with like cancel culture. Like one person will say something and then it's just like a slew of people who are just like attacking them. So like going back to like what Will was saying.
Nikki.
No, not that. Going back to what you were saying about the bandwagon, like the bandwagon effect is like a theory where people tend to align their beliefs and behaviors with those of a group. And it's also referred to as herd mentality. And like I feel like human beings do that in real life. I think it's normal and natural because like we're hardwired for social connection. But on Instagram, I feel like it's really like amplified, or like any social media platform, period.
Yeah.
So I feel like, you know, in relation to like how to tie this in with like how you handle their mental health issues or hardships, it's like if one person says something, a whole bunch of people, like a pack of people can come and like attack that person. And instead of like using it as like a learning moment or like a let's check in moment, it just like, there's a lot. There's a lot.
Nobody deserves to
Some
get
people
attacked.
do deserve to get attacked.
Nobody
Yeah,
deserves
I
to
feel
get
like
attacked.
it should be individuality on social media. I feel like it shouldn't be bandwagons because you're not that person.
Right now it's just a whole bunch of
Because what if they did something really bad? Like they
I mean, but that's
racist, or they
different.
hurt somebody. I'm talking about like that stuff.
She's
Wait.
talking about like clothing trends,
Right.
like
We ain't going that deep.
arguments,
Some people
stuff
do
like
be
that.
wearing some other stuff, but I be minding my business.
Exactly, because you know, hey, that's you, that's your preference. I'm
Yeah,
not
like-
about to-
In real life, I remember-
Back to that. Like,
Shut up. I'm sorry, really quick. Like in real life, I remember it was in middle school and 7th or 8th, I forgot. But in dance class, this girl on my dance team, she wasn't gonna dance right, and everybody in that class started getting on her.
including you.
No, I really didn't. It was given that I was, but I really felt so bad. I was like, okay, y'all just chill out. Like, she don't got the dance. Like, we could just.
So they beat you up.
No, she ran through crying. I felt so.
That's not. Right.
So was it on social media?
No,
or
it was in real life, and that's what made me more
She's
sad.
piggybacking off just riding the bandwagon.
Okay.
Like, I was like, okay, she don't got the dance. That's fine. I don't even got the dance. I ended up tearing the muscle in my thigh. So it was like, it's never that deep. Like, it was never that deep. I just felt bad. I felt really bad.
Yeah.
Back to
And
the
like
ugly
also
thing.
to think. Go ahead.
Back to the ugly thing. I don't think nothing or nobody is like really ugly. Like I be here like seeing that theory and like I agree with it. It's like I feel like nobody or nothing is really ugly because everything is attractive to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So like, say if like Nicki Minaj, like she might not be your cup of tea, but she's my cup of tea. You get what I'm saying? Like she's attractive to somebody. She just may not be attracted to you. So I just like feel back to that theory. I feel like nobody's really ugly. Nothing is really ugly. Wear what you want to. Look how you want to. You get what I'm saying? Love yourself. Love yourself. That's what first. And listen, if you want like a relationship, listen. Don't try to get somebody to love you if you don't love yourself. You can't expect nobody to love you if you don't love yourself.
That's so real.
Love yourself first, okay?
I preach your will.
I love you.
Thank you, preach your will. Okay. What was I about to say?
I forgot.
That's just like the movie. That's just like the movie we watched, Cyberbullying. Cyberbullying.
Oh, when that girl?
So the girl was riding the bandwagon of being on that social media app after her mom told her not to. And then she got cyberbullied.
And then she was
And
about that.
then she was about to commit suicide. All of this. Will, please.
Cut it out. Cut it out. Cut it out.
Oh my gosh. All of this just shows.
You gotta cut that out. You gotta cut that out. It wasn't my fault because I just started laughing. It set me off.
Okay. Yeah, man. I gotta say it over. Okay. That's just like the movie we were watching. Cyberbullying with the girl. She still made her social media page after her mother told her not to because she wanted to ride the bandwagon of all the other kids. And what happened? What happened? She got bullied. Why you say it like that? She got bullied. You said it.
No.
She got bullied. What happened?
You
She
took
got
a
bullied.
you gonna take a big pause and then try to say it.
I mean, I do think with the bandwagon effect, like going back to like its definition, like a tendency of people to align their beliefs and behaviors with those of a group. Like I feel like herd mentality is very popular throughout like adolescence. There is a psychologist, his name is Erik Erikson, and he created this theory about like the 8 stages of psychosocial development. And from like age, I believe it's like 13 through 22, 21, it's that stage of psychosocial development is called identity versus role confusion. So throughout that time, like adolescents, youth, are really just trying to figure out what is their place in society. So I feel like when you, like, and also like when you are trying to figure out your place in society, the influences around you can really be like impactful. Whether it's your parents, your peers, your teachers, your mentors, your the things you watch, period. So I feel like in the cyberbullying documentary, I feel like a lot of the girls who were like mean and bullying, like just a lot of the students in period who were bullying this one girl, I think it was really because of the stage of where they were in terms of psychosocial development, but also like their parents were influencing this behavior.
Well, I feel like just that one girl's parent, because her friend, I think one of the friends' parents knew and told her mom about it. Mm-hmm. But even that was a bad friend because she stopped talking to her because of what was going on. But the other friend, I don't think the other friend's parents knew anything about anything else. Mm-hmm. Which, honestly, when you think about it, that movie dives deeper into how social media plays effects on everyone, because the parents, like, it was different types of parents. Like, you had the parent who knew what his child was doing on social media and just didn't care. And then you had the one who actually did care about what was going on, but he didn't know until he found out because he went through her stuff. Mm-hmm. And then her mom, who honestly should have went about it a different way than to just say, it's your decision. Mm-hmm. Like, you can keep it or not. She should have just told her, no, you're too young for it. Either way, she made it.
Are you talking about the mother of the girl who was bullied? Mm-hmm. Well, you know, I feel like in that situation, like, she did admit to her daughter. She was like, you know, I'm sorry basically for like being passive about the situation. Mm-hmm. And like, I really thought that mom was a very inspirational woman, because, you know, she was even pushing for like bills to be passed. Like, she went to like the state, like a government, like building.
I just think she went to that extent after the fact that she saw her daughter almost commit suicide. It wasn't before, when your daughter was showing signs of depression. Mm-hmm. And you knew that social media was having an impact on her because you were telling her to delete the social media.
Right.
But you still let her go through that because you wanted her. I don't know if it was like to teach her her own lesson of what social media would be like, but I just felt like she should have been more straightforward on her daughter not having a social media page after the first time she told her to delete it.
I just feel like her parents should have been active in her life. Period.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, because I was going to say, like, her father was absent. She could be using social media as an outlet to, you know, really, there's something called doom scrolling where, you know, people will scroll through social media and not even realize that they're scrolling on it for a long time. And sometimes, like, that doom scrolling helps people cope with their trauma and the things that they are going through. And I feel like in her case, maybe, I don't think she was doom scrolling per se, but she definitely did have an addiction to social media. And I feel like it was a range of things. Like, part of me was like, I empathized with her addiction because it seemed like it was the cool thing. Like, I think it was like one point where like her mother was like telling her to shut it down, like change your password and everything, and she was just like, Mom, like, please, like, she was really begging with her. And I really felt for her because it's just like during that identity versus role confusion phase, when you see all of your peers doing this one thing, and you're not doing it, then you experience this FOMO, like fear of missing out. And I feel like, you know, feeling like you're a part of something, feeling like you're a cool kid, and feeling like, you know, you're just like everybody else. It's really like, you know, we just want acceptance as human beings. So, what was the question that you had asked? Like, how did we get there?
Just how social media alters you.
I mean, going back to the FOMO, and then also, like, I feel like another thing, like, in that cyberbullying film, like, there were, like you said, there was, like, one parent who was, like, really influencing their child's behavior. Like, when the mom had came to one of the bullies' house, like, she talked with the father, and the father was basically like, oh, like, I don't care. Like he had that type of like mentality. So it's just like it makes me want to like that inspires me really to like dig deeper, and because it's like what are you experiencing at home? Because I mean your parent, like obviously in that situation it's just like he wasn't caring, so it really revealed what kind of person he was. And I guess the parent influences, like a parent's impact is very important because it influences how their child shows up in the world. And we saw how a lot of people's children were showing up in the world. And I mean, going back to, I feel like if people have like parents who are hypercritical or abusive or just neglectful, instead of like the child fighting with their parents, they will take that behavior out elsewhere in the world. So I feel like in a lot of those girls' situations, because mainly like we saw girls bickering in that film, I feel like a lot of them, maybe their home life was chaotic or not pleasant, and therefore they became something that they became something like something that wasn't good.
Yeah, they put on a different persona. So we're running a little on time. I want to ask her this last question, but y'all gotta keep your answers responses to minimum. Okay. So do you think that big or major tech companies play a role in how social media affects people's music? So like Facebook, Twitter, I don't know what else, like just major companies that y'all see a lot on social media. Because I know y'all see like a whole bunch of clothing brands on social media a lot, or music producers or music videos, stuff like that. Yeah, Nike. Nicki. Beyonce.
Nicki.
Everybody.
So there, in the Social Dilemma documentary, there was a guy named Tristan Harris, and he worked for Google, but then he actually left and co-founded his own organization. But he noticed, at the Google headquarters, I don't know which location he worked at, but he noticed how no one brought awareness to the fact that they were endorsing an addiction. And he talked about like how he made a presentation about it, like the harms of social media. And he said like how it sparked a cultural movement. He made his presentation, people saw it, and like, the office, like a lot of people, there was a lot of chatter and a lot of response from his colleagues, but then things died down. So I feel like big tech companies definitely do play a role in the people's addiction when your purpose or your intentions are not to serve the people, and it's more so about what you can put in your pocket, then I feel like you are not serving the community at large, you're serving yourself.
I also think, sorry.
Yeah.
Sure?
Yeah, I'm positive.
Okay. Just to piggyback off what you said, I also feel like you said something about time limit or like scrolling. Mm-hmm. How it's just it's addicting. Social media is literally addicting. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I don't know if y'all remember this, but there used to be a thing on like Instagram, Facebook, where they literally would tell you you've been scrolling for too long and you need to take a break. They got it on TikTok. This on TikTok.
And they got it on Instagram. Yes, they do.
I think
it's because you got it like enable quiet mode.
Exactly.
You got quiet mode.
That's the thing is now you have the option on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You have the option to turn on those notifications. So if you turn them on, then you'll see them. But at first, it was just they used to tell you, okay, you've been scrolling for too long. Now you have the option to pick how long you be on social media. And I feel like that's kind of a major corporation influence they had, because at first it was them trying to limit how much people were using social media, and now that they're profiting so much off of it, they really do not care. which is why they have the option. Like even on TikTok, I set mine for 3 hours and I can put in a room and still scroll on TikTok. So it's not really useful unless you train yourself to get off of social media. But it's hard because it's addicting.
Twitter
really
has
addicting.
shit like that. So like with Elon, we first bought the company. It was like you can't scroll more than 300 tweets unless you were to pay to get infinite tweets. If you scroll past 300 tweets, you would have to get off for 6 hours and then come back to see 300 more tweets. And then it would be
Something that was a really big takeaway from the Social Dilemma documentary was, I forget who said it, but they said these algorithms were not designed by child psychologists who wanted to protect and nurture you. They were designed to get you to swipe after the next video. I feel like who you have creating these platforms makes a really big difference. If we had a child psychologist who were, you know, in the lab creating an app that can be safely used by the youth, then it will look totally different from, you know, some businessman who works in Silicon Valley and who graduated, you know, like with this master's degree in STEM or something, and, you know, just cares about putting money in their pocket. So yeah, with that being said, I mean, like when you were talking about the TikTok and stuff, and how you can put in a password and, you know, change the settings, I feel like that's counterproductive. I feel like they need to actually have something where it's like, maybe you can't do that.
Yeah.
And it needs to really like be a limit. Because like, if we, like how do we establish boundaries or safe relationships with social media if we are just, you know, placed in this sea with no raft or with no lifeguard, you know?
Yeah. So, social media has its many effects on the youth and anybody who uses it, honestly. So, with that, we're going to come to the end of our episode. We would like to thank our supporters for tuning in, our community for believing, and we will talk to y'all on the next B.Y.O.LOGUES.
Adios, bonjour, yeah, the Jim O'Pell. Oui, adios.